Hello, and it's Chef Rich here, and I'm back. And I wanted to talk to you guys, my country, what is it, my fellow countrymen and women. It's elections. We're right in the middle. Well, we're almost to the end because it's almost elections, right? So, what are we voting for? What are you voting for? I keep asking that, right? To those in the back who are voting for innovation, let's talk a bit about innovation or the lack of and the need of innovation in this country. We were into sugar, that didn't work out all that well in the end. Then we went into tourism. Here comes COVID, give it some uppercut, show us all the shortcomings of tourism, but yet we have just sat back and we're in it like we like nothing happened. Right? If you look around, a lot of the factories that a lot of women used to work in, they have closed. I think we have one left now, which is House Server. Could be wrong. By owning of one, correct me in the comments if you know more. But what are we doing? A lot of women are out of work, right? We saw the importance or the need for food security during COVID, and we had a lot of talking about it. We like to talk or we ask about these things and argue, and then as soon as the boat started coming regularly again, as soon as you could find your favorite macaroni on the shelf again, you don't forget about food security. But these are areas that food security is not just about your belly, it's about job creation, it's about wealth creation. Take for example agriculture. We know Kitishans feared agriculture care. Y'all ain't want to go digging in a dirt. When we were in school, they tell us if you don't learn your lesson, you're gonna work in a gang, you're gonna dig in the dirt, you're gonna work in the sun, and they just totally vilified agriculture on a whole, which is crazy because without agriculture, how do we eat? Agriculture is the foundational industry for almost every other industry. So, anyways, we have a few people trying it. It's not been too successful since sugar, because to me it has not been given the resources and the funding on the level that say sugar was given. But it also needs supporting sister industries, sister programs to go along with it, if you will. What about agro processing, right? Now I can't go through everything we could plant, but let's try tomatoes, because kitchens love a bad ketchup, right? There's this trend now where you pour ketchup on, you turn over the container and you pour ketchup again. I don't understand that. But the point is, kitchens love a bad ketchup. So imagine if all the farmers, which have been guilty of planting the same crop, all of them plant tomatoes, but instead of it just throwing them away and them going to waste, why not process them, right? You could literally take one of those factories that closed down and got that shit, turn it into a food processing plant and deal with strictly freaking tomatoes and create so many jobs, create so many products, right? You could imagine you use all those tomatoes that those farmers are going. The agro processing adds value to the product. Imagine you can make tomato powder, tomato paste, tomato juice, dried tomatoes, and imagine you can make ketchup. But you don't have to have that factory making ketchup. That factory can just process the tomatoes into a state that other products can be made. So you could imagine, say, two local people, two fine women who feel like, well, I could make the best ketchup on island. Maybe you got a spicy one, maybe you got a fruity one. And both of them, you've just now created two separate brands that can completely supply the island. And not just that, but we can have no export. We do not export anything, right? We like the bimbos of the region. We not make nothing. We only want buy, right? We like them girls that say like the ambulance, one. We ain't creating anything. We just consumers, and that's just horrible because it never used to be that way, right? Ask your grandmother about in the 70s how much stuff we grew and how much islands we were providing with produce and other things, right? Now you only have ships coming. But imagine if you take something as simple as tomatoes, you've now created two different companies. You've now created the opportunity for generational wealth for two different families, for two different bloodlines. You can also create products that are healthier, because Lord knows a lot of these ketchups are coming is just strictly high fructose corn syrup and sugar and coloring, right? And cornstarch. Some of them ain't got no tomato really, just the food coloring. So you get a better product, you get a healthier product, and it generates wealth, it creates jobs, it exports, so then it's bringing in foreign revenue. all from a little freaking tomato, right? So you see, things could be a lot easier. And for all the naysayers out there who gonna say, oh, they can't be there, they can't work because nothing could ever work and it's too expensive. How much money we spending on the piece? How much money we spending on the pack? How much money we spending on some of these hotels that fall through, right? That people have to go work like slave to, you know. I mean, come on. If we invest some of this money into these type of programs that not only provide work but allow or provide for entrepreneurship or provide for people to start businesses out of this thing, you could imagine how much better it would be. For one, the price of ketchup would be down, so the restaurateurs would love that because ketchup, dear, that's why we make our own, right? And shameless plug, at Cocoa Plums we make our own and it's healthier and it's all natural. But imagine if you could have choices, and if persons out there could have choices. Agro processing is important. It is the missing link, if you will, to the success of agriculture, right? And we don't have to go everything. You can bring in, say you bring in okay, for example, when I was in St. Lucia the last time, I love nuts. I went, and peanuts amongst them kind of nuts people get your mind up because. So I love these type of nuts, and I went to the supermarket and I got like a little bag of mixed nuts, and it was quite affordable. So I was like, wow, this is cheap. Only to realize that some factory in St. Lucia imports the raw nuts, and they make their different blends and their own recipes. When I say recipe, the different ratios, they add fruit, whatever. And it was done on island, so then they were able to provide it at a much more affordable rate. But it was, I'm sure, creating jobs, and it was something that they could grow as a business. And we have seen, when you look around, you see all these different brands out of Jamaica, out of Trinidad, out of Barbados, out of, again, St. Lucia, Dominica, all these places where people are manufacturing and making items. Some of the sweetest chips, them planting chips and stuff, Dominique and all them, they're making cocoa and chocolate. We grow chocolate. If you go up in the hills, you find cocoa trees. There is so much that can be done, and agriculture doesn't have to be the down in the dirt, shameless, poor image that we grew up with, that we were so spoiled with. And it's so unfortunate because, again, it can really be the key to not only job creation in our federation, but wealth creation, generational wealth, and to really bring us out of the dependence on foreign things, and to really, really take people out of poverty. So, yeah.